You gotta start the show.
Okay, I have to introduce the whole thing now. This is Grindstone.
I love music. Let me get cool. Because this episode is about music. I want to tell you, I can't cope. Life without music, I can't cope. Got jumped on me, messed up my clothes, smashed and grabbed my radio, calling all detectives. There's a criminal smoking a big fat cigar in a fancy car, thinking himself a superstar. Oh, life without music, I can't cope. I can't cope. Life without music, I can't cope. I can't cope. Thank you very much. Shout out to Steel Pulse. Life without music is difficult, man. Because sometimes musicians will make music and just like we got the ABCs and just like we have memorable songs about just different things that you don't even realize it's a learning lesson. It comes through melody and it comes through song. And so every now and then I'm going to get on this microphone and talk to you about music. But there's a very important reason why we should be talking about this because, oh my gosh, right now it's a very... Look, it's not even a secret no more. The cat's out the bag. The machine has its teeth sharpened and is trying to sharpen his vision. It's like a bear fresh out of hibernation, just coming, looking for the people. You know, the machine is just walking, just stalking, just looking for prey. And for everybody, all my study cohorts from the 80s, 90s, maybe even early 2000s, school of thought, and before. Not recently, though. I ain't gonna lie. Not recently. I'm not familiar with groups of people interested in the truth. But all the stuff that we may have been thinking about, reading about, preparing for, I mean, from, the people who talked about tech to the people who talked about government plans to all that stuff is happening right now. So it's really hard to find somebody who would be labeled a conspiracy theorist because all that stuff is like laying out right now. And some of the solutions are in the music. But we have so many aspects of entertainment that they might show up in good spirits, but they do not help us. And I know that some people say, hey, look, I don't feel like learning in my music, or I don't feel like blah, blah, blah in my free time. Give me a good distraction and a cocktail, right? I'm not mad at you. I understand a good distraction and a cocktail, but understand this. A good distraction and a cocktail is going to have you without the tools for survival in times like right now. There's a certain level of panic going on right now, but the NFL is still on, right? So you can kind of distract yourself with whatever coverage is around something that you're totally not connected to. And but you want to like connect yourself because you're from that city or you bet on that game or that's your favorite player or whatever. But look at me very closely. Look at me right now. Look at me right now. It's your responsibility to get hip. For some reason, I'm taking on the responsibility of like helping you get hip. But the music is something, it's either going to help or hurt invariably. Even if people are not signed up for taking the role. A lot of the time you might hear the word agent. You might hear it in real estate agent. You might hear it in sports agent. You might be like, It might be Agent 007, or somebody might just be kind of saying beware of somebody. That person's an agent. I want you to keep this in mind, the word agent. Peep this. An agent, I'm reading this off of one of our convenient Googles. An agent is a broad term for someone or something that acts on behalf of another person, group, or entity, or something that produces an effect. I'll read that one more time. An agent is a broad term for someone or something that acts on behalf of another person, group, or entity, or something that produces an effect. So if you work on behalf of something else and you produce an effect, and if it works to produce the effect for that person or for that entity, you're an agent. And I'm not just talking about you, but what I want everybody to do is understand that there are agents of industry, and we might have an affinity for them because they're a celebrity or because that thing that they do is popular. But just know who's an agent of your destruction. And with that, baby, welcome to episode 70-something of Sorry for My Language. Yeah. I'll get busy, baby. I got timing with that every time. Yeah. All right. Cut the music. Man, so this is episode, I'm going to say 70. What is it?
Is it episode 73?
Or is it episode? We don't even know. We don't even care. I don't care. I don't even care. But we are up in the 70s, baby. And this, hey, I thank you all for being close to me long enough for me to make this real. Sorry for My Language is my lifestyle philosophy, culture, and music show. I'm your host, Grindstone, and your main sponsor here is Grindstone Universal. Let me tell you something. This jacket that I'm wearing right now, this is a Grindstone Universal special, baby. You can find this on the website. Come on, I'm not going to show up shabby. You think I'm going to show up shabby? It ain't happening. But anyway, in all seriousness, come on, man. Dig the deets. If you can't see it well enough here, you will be able to see it well enough at grindstoneuniversal.com. Yes, indeed. Yes, sir. Come on. So today in the music world, man, what a great year of music for hip hop, right? Damn, what a great year. We've had let me just say joints that I've liked so far this year that have been out that I really appreciate, musically or otherwise, in no particular order. Rock Marciano with DJ Premier, like that joint. Ice Cube, the Clips, Ghostface Killer. I'm happy about the fact that Raekwon dropped something, but I'm here to say that wasn't his best work. He got a couple joints on there, but you know, hey, he threw his hat in the ring, and so I'm happy about that. Let me see who else dropped something this year who I really F with. Hard for me to remember right now. Who I was just jamming something. They just keep entering the chat more and more. It's just more and more good music selections coming out. But the one that I'm sprung on right now, with very good reason, is J Electronica. And some of you might say, who? Well, I'm gonna tell you. J Electronica. Yes. J Electronica just dropped 3 albums like last week. And he's one of the more mysterious guys in the whole pantheon of music because for whatever reason, Jay-Z has just greenlit whatever he wants to do. Like whatever J Electronica wants to do, Jay-Z is like, go ahead, Rock Nation endorses it, rock on. And it's odd, but oh wait, did I say the Clips? Rewind. If I didn't say the Clips, yeah, the Clips. But anyway, J Electronica he's a rapper who's had a mystique because years ago he released something called Exhibit C. I can't remember if he had Exhibit A and Exhibit B, but it was the name of a song, and it was just like known as an instant classic amongst people who really listen to hip hop. And J Electronica then had a child with Erykah Badu. So it's like, shit, if Erykah gonna lay an egg with you, you gotta be the one. You are enlightened. You know, so he got the Baduism tint on him, you know, which is like a stamp of you're one of them guys. And so, man, shout out to Erykah Badu too. Goodness gracious. The nation building that she does, I mean, come on now. Just think if DOC, Andre 3000, and J Electronica had a damn album. First of all, the production of that album and the structuring and the messaging and the lyrics would be better than probably we've ever seen or heard. That would be something magnetic, man. I hope they get along. It's not too late, y'all. Come on. Damn, the Badu 3? Oh, shit. Woof. That shit could be produced by Alchemist and Dre and have her singing on the joint every now and then. Oh, my goodness gracious. The Badu 3. So anyway, he's been a mysterious figure in the rap game, right? And 2019, he dropped the album, and it was really like him and Jay-Z, but that was his first album that I had heard of when he was talking about when he was really, really highly featured in the joint. And to me, that album made Jay-Z step his game up because, you know, Jay-Z is a very versatile rapper. He's one of the very few celebrities who deserves to be a celebrity, you know, in hip hop at least, like, or in pop culture. I'll say that, not just hip hop. But I feel like Jay-Z has been celebrated by the casuals, but he's also better than most of the purists. And so that's where, you know, you got to just give him what it is. And and he got all the money for doing the shit. And so now here he is stamping this guy who's a pure fucking artist and just get green lighting him. So anyway, one thing about Jay Electronica, and I'm giving you this background so then I could go into the album. He's from New Orleans, which is also odd for a rapper of his ilk because he's a rapper's rapper. Now, while Lil Wayne is a rapper's rapper, and you have a few, although I can't think of them right now, I'm just going to say a few other rappers from New Orleans who are rappers. Juvenile, I love Juvenile. Yeah, fuck it. Juvenile's a rapper's rapper too. But you know, Juvenile has New Orleans all over him when it comes to like the call and response and the party type thing. Like Juvenile feels like a gangster ass Mardi Gras. You know, just like Juvenile feels like a party. But Jay Electronica feels like you're downloading critical information that you usually get from East Coast rappers or Bay Area rappers. And I'm going to say like more 90s-ish Bay Area rappers. And now that you got Kendrick, I'm going to say Kendrick to me is really an anomaly of an LA rapper. But you kind of get that from New York-based and California rappers when it's that thoughtful shit, thoughtful fly shit. And so that's where Jay Electronica's lane is. But sonically, because he's from fucking New Orleans, this shit be sounding good. Because, you know, anyway, all that being said, the reason why I mentioned the term agent earlier is because we have fallen in love with agents of our destruction. Now, do you need me to read that top? Do you all remember what an agent is? Let me read that mother sucker again. An agent is a broad term for someone or something that acts on behalf of another person, group, or entity, or something that produces an effect. So, if you're a real estate agent, you're helping a broker sell some real estate. You're helping something. And, you know, coconut oil is it's a fatty agent that sometimes, or avocado, right? It helps certain nutrients break down and get into your system better. You know, agent is something that helps something else. So a lot of the time, celebrities, athletes, they are agents of the U.S. government. There's very rarely a time when there's a sports competition professionally that doesn't further the U.S. government agenda, whatever that fucking agenda might be. It'll make money for the country, or for like where there's a broadcasting system or whatever. It'll push out a message that, you know, it'll fly the flag over the shit. It does all these things. And whether these athletes like it or not, or know it or not, they are an agent. Musicians are often agents, and sometimes they don't know it, and sometimes they are very conscious of it, but they're just like, fuck it, keep the money coming. Me not care. So this is going to come into another episode I'm talking about, but I really think now is the time for us to point out the agents, right? And just know, like, you don't have to go on no super social media run and talk about it. You can if you want to, but I'm just saying, don't be ignorant about who's the agent to your destruction. Now, very briefly, one person, and I'm going to start out by saying this. One person who I really do like as a person. Now, I haven't met her, but I like her as a person. I like Cardi B. I like her as a person, right? Because I do think she's genuine. As a musician, not so much. I don't think that I think she's a person. I think she's a hustler. And I think that she is financially secured things for her life and her coming generations with her music. But I think if that music came out, the same exact music, but from someone with a flat personality, I don't think the music would be the product that it is, even if the music sounded the same. So I think the music is something around her personality. I think she could drop the music and be a fucking movie star, talk show host, an entity that we have, I don't even know who to compare her to. She could be a fucking Joan Rivers, right? She's not a stand-up comedian, but she got the thing to captivate an audience. Like if Joan, I'll put it this way. If Joan Rivers had been a rapper, she would have been Cardi B. Am I lying? Think about it. Wait, is it Joan Rivers? Yeah. I thought I fucked that up. I was supposed to say Joan Collins. But anyway, if Joan Rivers was a rapper, she'd be Cardi B. And I think Cardi B has that thing. And right now, her music and like what her music does, says, expresses, all that shit, because it's not coming from like true craftsmanship and it's just a boxed packaged product that makes money for the industry to keep turning. First of all, I did listen to her album. The shit is let me say this. Her marketing gave her a fancy box, a fancy packaging for a trash product. You know, the best thing about Cardi's album is her fucking social media marketing, but she started out on social media, right? That's where her fucking gift is. Her fucking gift is relating to people, not being on no fucking microphone, rapping or giving no fucking speech for the president, incumbent, or no shit like that. You know, so but fuck it, get the money, whatever. However, because her music does consistently push bullshit and that bullshit gets inflated and then somehow it goes platinum, like how the fuck that shit go? Like really? Come on now. She is an agent of the industry, and the industry is an arm of some of the worst shit in world history when it comes to what it finances, what it stands for, and its lack of morals. The industry of music is it funds evil shit. You know, let's face it. Am I lying? Tell the truth, shame the devil. Tell the truth, shame the devil. But shout out to that Mamacita because, man, she's a real motherfucker. And she's kind of young, you know, so like, man, motherfucker showing up with money bags and shit, and that's how you got it. She probably, I can't say what she probably nothing, but she probably just don't see it the way I see it in terms of the damage that agents do when they represent some shit that doesn't represent them. You know, it ain't shit. Just think, if you got all the money in the world and you about to ditch the dollar, it don't matter. Fuck it, here's 5 million. Here's 10 million. Here's a tour. Here's a product. It don't even fucking matter. You know, as long as you have a player on that field pushing your agenda, then, you know, you're not making the dent that you thought you made, but you are making the impression on the people who listen and watch and pay attention to the industry. And I know a lot of people like, oh, you're no fun. A lot of people like,
Oh, you're no fun. You just a hater.
no, I'm not hating. What I'm just saying is the industry makes money and they do shit with that money that we don't like. And the athletes and music entertainers and all these other motherfucking talking heads, they make a choice about what they're going to say and what they're not going to say and how they're going to present and what goes out there and what they proliferate. And that shit has an effect. It produces an effect. And that's in the definition of agent. So let's just know what we fucking with when we fucking with it. And be happy with our choice. Let's be able to look in the mirror and cheer ourselves on for the decisions that we've made and know that no decision is neutral. Now, that's that part of my little segmentation because this life will drive you kind of crazy. And when this life does get in your way, I actually have something that might help you find grounding. So a friend of mine, total side note, a friend of mine, she has something that can help you. All right. So if you hit a creativity wall in your life, let me read this. Empowerment Unlocked is what this is called. It's a 5-week online course by Maria Kazmi to help you reset your mindset, break patterns, and move with clarity. Whether you're rebuilding after burnout, leaving an old version of yourself behind, or stepping into new life stages, this course gives you the tools to reset. It's not therapy. So for those of y'all with therapy phobia, you don't have to go into it with that. This is it's more of a strategy. Okay, it's a strategy for life. This starts September 25th, but that's just when it starts. Okay, you can hop in like double dutch whenever you're ready, but it starts September 25th, this particular run. And it's just $49 for 5 weeks. And it's all virtual. So you could do it from the comfort of your crack den or wherever it is you find yourself. Go to browngirlinterrupting.com. That's browngirlinterrupting.com. Or you can hit the link in our IG bio, which is at browngirlinterrupting. And that right there, we just all need things that will get our shit together, Shout out to her and shout out to you if you choose to improve yourself, because this whole life will scramble you, which brings me to the beauty of what I'm here to talk about today. Something to feel on her booty too, from the heart. If I was young and rich, I'd marry you, but I'm old and I hate so. Man, thank you, hip hop. Thank you. So last week, Electronica dropped 3 albums. Whew. This is the music that I needed. This is the music that I think the hip hop community needed. This is the music that I think the world needs for a few reasons. Number one, you gotta have, I gotta put these on for the music chat. No, hold up, water break. Listen, man, as far as albums have been this year, there have been a lot of people who have been acting as agents unknowingly with the music, right? We're talking about Electronica now, but just think how many ridiculously fucked up messages that you have been imprinted on by listening to whatever music you've been listening to, and it's not exactly behavior that you would choose, but because they're popular, you hear it over and over, and then it might be a little something that might make you buy into a behavior. Or you might say something over and over, and you might see something a certain way. Well, with Electronica, he is coming with the game of adulting. And it's not just because he's grown up, but it's because he has grounded himself in a way creatively, and it just feels like he's worked on himself as a person to be able to exude a product, to be able to create a product that just exudes self-discovery, maturity, and beyond all else, a very high level of skill. So like I'm telling you, this is rapper shit, okay? For all y'all who got bars, for all y'all who are true artists, I don't care how many platinums you got, whatever you got. If you have an album that you was thinking about releasing, if you just drive around and like to rap at your windshield, whatever. This is the type of album that will make you pick up your pen and notebook. I mean, the imagery in that shit is like that. The sounds, and one of the interesting things about this album, production-wise, he did most, if not all, of the production. So I say Jay Electronica is what he's who everybody thought J. Cole was. But he way nicer on the rhymes, on the message, on the grown man shit, on the beats. Like, just very unique. He got his own lane. And for those of y'all who've been following him through his journey, which has been very fucking spotty, this artist don't drop nothing. He's like the rap Sade. He's like the rap. If MF Doom and Sade had a baby, it's Jay Electronica. Like, very much off the grid, but whenever he drops something, it'll burn your wig back. And you like, fuck, what the hell? So it's a few things that I judge artists off of, okay? Now, when I'm saying judge them, if I have this moment with an artist, then I'm like, yeah, they one of them. If I'm somewhere listening to a song and I don't know what the fuck I'm listening to and I Shazam it, if you make me Shazam that shit, you one of them. In my eyes. So one day, I can't remember where I was, but this song was on. It might even been on the. I don't know where I was. Let's make it simple. And I was hearing this rhyme pattern and these piano keys, and I was like, goodness gracious, this is. And I think it was like conversation going on that I was supposed to be engaged in, like in person, but this came on and kind of like when a music wave hits me, if it's like that, I tune out of whatever I'm paying attention to so I could listen. Like, I'm a listener. I'm the type of listener, artist. Lend me your ear. Lend me your ear right now. I'm the type of listener who will listen to your whole project and I'll listen to every nuance of it right when that shit drops. If you popular or not. More than likely, if you're not popular, I'll give you more listen because I want to hear the shit. But I listen to the popular shit too. If I know that shit dropping at midnight, I'm pressing that joint at 12:01 because I want to hear it before anybody says anything about it. And I listen on the good speakers and all that shit. I want to hear it, and I enjoy doing that. That's my shit. Like, I have to walk around my house to find the TV. I listen to music in my house. That's what I do. So with Jay Electronica's new albums, well, not even with the new albums. One day I was Shazamming this shit, and he had the song, the one I Shazammed, it was the song called A Letter to Fallon. And I don't know who the fuck Fallon is, but that single came out like quite a while ago. And then it's also included on his new album. Oh, let me give you the name of it, first of all. The one that I like the most is called Act 2, The Patterns of Nobility, The Turn. That's the name of it. Act 2, The Patterns of Nobility, The Turn by Jay Electronica. It has like 14 songs. How many songs do I got on it? 14. So it's the one with 14 songs that's 44 minutes long. That's the one that gets my vote thus far for the best album of 2025. Fuck that. And I think that everybody can appreciate that shit. So this is a stretch. But this album kind of hit me in a way like a Stevie Wonder album would. Like when Stevie Wonder, when he 1971, 72, when he had the braids, yeah, like the songbook or songs in the key of life, like that phase of Stevie Wonder feels like this phase of Jay Electronica. And he's giving you information and vibes and feels that are very soulful and, like I said, an extremely high level of skill for the person who likes the skill and for just the listener. Like the way he produced the music and the way it goes with his voice is just a beautiful, Shazammable listen. Shit is dope. And the beginning is the beginning of the album for a reason. And the end is the end of the album for a reason. So the album has that perfect arc. So he has a couple of features on this album. It's one song, it's one or two songs that were on that first album of his where he was with Jay-Z. One of them is I don't know why I can't remember the names, but one of them is Road to Perdition, and the other is The Shiny Suit Theory. So a lot of y'all might remember that from his first album, the one that dropped in 2019. But fuck it, them joints is worth it. And then he also has another song that's I think it's called Dinner at Tiffany's, where it's just music. It's something that a producer should do to flex their production capability muscle. You know, just like, yeah, I got good music. Oh, in my discussion of great music that dropped in 2025, Juicy J's album that he came out with Logic this year. Wow, great album. But the Juicy J dropped a jazz album this year, and I cannot remember the name of it, but that's another very high level, excellent, well done album by a rapper in 2025. So right now, the hip hop genre, they getting their food right now. They getting their chili cheese. They putting the sauce on it. The habanero is on the microphone right now, and we love it. But what I will say about this J Electronica album again, okay, so I'm gonna give you my experience with it. And first I'm gonna give you this how I listen to music. So in 1987, when EPMD, I'm gonna walk you all the way back. Fuck that. In 1985, when Mantronics dropped their self-titled album, Mantronics, that album blew my mind. And now I'm in here talking to the music people. So if you're not hip to Mantronics, I'm giving you a jewel. Like, fuck with it. Oops. I'm giving you a jewel. So Mantronics, they came out with an album self-titled Mantronics. And at that time, they were really fucking with the Roland 808 keyboard, and then they were also fucking with the 909. But it was really the 808 that was making all these bass sounds that people truly hadn't really, really messed with. Like Too Short had kind of fucked with it, but we talking 1985. So 1985, it's still beatboxing. It's still like a whole lot of snare. It's still a whole lot of like keyboard riffs in the music. You know, Run DMC at that time, they had the guitars and the snares. It was a lot of hi-fi shit, but you know, I mean, like it was a lot of high end to the music, not a lot of low end. You know, and so Mantronics came out, and I think the very first song they came out with was called Fresh as the Word. And that shit was using the cowbell, and it was like boom, 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 boom. Like that was some shit you would turn on, but that was still like a lot of kick. But then the first song, now I'm talking like 85, right? The first song on that album was called Baseline. Now we get to the fucking 808, right? The 808 that everybody's loving on today, that everybody's counting on today. Mantronics. Baseline. Won't, 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 won't. Like, so that shit is kind of shaking the speaker a little bit. You had to step your radio game up a little bit, you know, to accommodate this shit that we hearing through the speakers. So the subwoofer nature of the music that started to take over, for me, that shit started with Mantronics, right? So back then, you know, of course there were no phones and shit. So you had like the Sony Walkman. So people had Walkmans. And everybody didn't have a Walkman. I didn't have no fucking Walkman. But that was back in the day where you borrowing shit. You might wear your friend's jacket and let him wear your hat. You know, because like, fools didn't have all the clothes in the world. So, you know, you would mix and match with your partners. And every now and then somebody would let you borrow a tape, or you would give them a blank tape and they make you a tape. You know, so you would kind of kick back, share shit. But I remember my homie Matt, this fool had he had a Walkman. And so we had the same English class in 8th grade with Miss Harris, right? And it was in one of the portables. It was a little longer walk. So in that little 6 minutes, you go from class to class. I remember he let me listen to that Mantronic shit one day, right? And I was like, goodness gracious, that shit is the beat. So I got I had a double cassette deck radio, like a box, where you could put the tape with the shit on it in one cassette, and then in the other, you put a blank tape, and then you could dub the music from this to that, just like with a press of a button. So he let me borrow his Mantronics tape one day. I dubbed the shit. So then, because I didn't have a Walkman, I would have to go home to listen to the shit. Right? So like on my way home, I would be geeking to listen to Mantronics. And I'm just telling you this so you can know what it's like when how I listen to music. So on the Mantronics album, and it's streaming now, is a song called Get Stupid Fresh. Right? And then the following albums came up with Get Stupid Fresh Part 2. That was with Just Ice. And then he got Get Stupid Fresh Part 3, which is wild. It's dope as hell. I actually, back in the day, but this might have been like 87, 88. I recorded Get Stupid Fresh Part 3 off the radio, KZSU in the Bay. You know about it. So anyway, Get Stupid Fresh was a song on Mantronic's first album. So what I used to do when I got home from school, I'm talking like 8th grade, 9th grade too, but really, really heavy 8th grade. Like 9th grade, I don't know what the fuck I do when I got back from school. 7th grade, I remember I get home, I play video games. 8th grade, I remember I would watch like Sanford and Son and What's Happening and listen to my box. 9th grade, that was more when motherfuckers was kind of getting dressed a little bit, so I would have to make sure my waves was right. I'd be getting my polo shit together, my eyes eyed. I'd be laying out the outfit. And 9th grade is when I started like working out. So I'd be on my push-ups every day, and motherfucker turned to a young man 9th grade. But 8th grade, it was music and video games. So I remember one day I sat on the damn couch and Get Stupid Fresh came on, right? And if you go to your streaming platforms and listen to Get Stupid Fresh by Mantronics, that shit came on, and it's this part of the song where he says, what use is it for me to say what he says? But it's this part of the song where he kind of like harmonizes and sings, and the beat goes like, it's like, it goes like, this is how it sounds. He says, I need to hold you. Like the beat does this big ass sound, and Mantronics is dope as fuck. So me just doing that shit, that wasn't worth your time. But it sounded so fly that I hit my radio. Like, I need to hold you. And it was on reverb and shit. Bow. I was like, oh, damn. Boom. I hit my radio and fucking broke it. But that's how much music affects me. Okay, then you go to 86, 87 when the Beastie Boys came out. But before that, it was all about Run DMC. 85, it was the Fat Boys too. I was just all about the music. I've always been all the way about the music, listening to every song and just knowing that shit and just living that shit, drawing that shit, drawing the name on the binders, writing my name, tagging shit on the desk, everywhere. Just hip hop all the way. I bought in all the way. I'm here for you, hip hop baby. I'm here for you, baby. It's just how I live. That's how I still live, right? So in 87, EPMD came out. And for those of y'all who are unfamiliar with EPMD is a 2-man rap group from Long Island. And EPMD, the first time I heard him, it was on KZSU, the radio station in I think it was Stanford University's radio station, if I'm not mistaken. And EPMD had a song called "You a Customer," right? Since then, it's been endlessly sampled, right? But it starts off, knick knack, patty whack, give the dog a bone. Don't give him nothing but a microphone. Don't stop. I'm not finished yet. You say you want to eat, you want to make a bet, remember this, but now you in the danger zone. I figured you would. Now leave me alone. You pick and you wish to be a full. You pick and you wish on a four-leaf clover to be the E-double-E. Over and over. You intrigued by the way I do my thing. Do what? Grab the mic high and make it swing. I got the capabilities to rap and chill. Go wax and tax MCs who tend to act ill. So the next day, because this radio show will come on Sundays, right? The next day at school, a few people were like, man, you hear that song with the dudes? Knick knack, patty whack, give the dog a bone. It seemed so simple and almost stupid, but it was super fresh because nothing sounded like that. Like they were talking super slow, but their rhymes was dope, right? So then everybody talking about EPMD. Then I heard the song, and the name was weird too, like EPMD. At that time, nobody had a name like that. Like everybody had like a real big name, you know. EPMD was kind of hard to figure out. So for that reason, it was kind of catchy. But they had a song called "It's My Thing," and that sampled from a real popular song before them. But after that, the Jay-Z Foxy Brown in 1996, the "Ain't No Nigga" song, that was that same sample, but "It's My Thing," and it was such a groovy ass womp 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 womp. And they were just flowing to it, right? And they was flowing hella cool. So by that time, I'm itching to get my hands on an EPMD album, right? Because I was just like, fuck, I fuck with EPMD. So I got the tape. And I think the Fat Boys tape was the first tape I ever bought. But the second one was the EPMD joint called Strictly Business. That shit is a hip hop fucking classic. Now, why am I saying this? I'll tell you why. Because I listened to that album sitting, like, you know, my whole thing would be like sitting in a room in front of the speaker, play the album, and my activity would be listening. Like I wouldn't be doing other shit. I might be doing some push-ups, because push-ups in that era, that was really my shit. I'd be doing like 300 push-ups a day, diamond push-up, just sweaty as fuck at home, right? But push-ups, leg lifts, whatever type of workout, you know, a little equipment in my room. But I'm listening. So then that album was also good because I put that shit on and I'll fall asleep to it. And that was like a weird thing. I was like, man, I really like this album, but I'm falling asleep to it, right? And so that's when I realized that for me, and I'm not saying this goes for anybody else, but if an album really hits me right, I don't give a fuck what type of album it is. I could fall asleep to it. It's kind of like when a plane is taking off, and when that engine comes on, I swear I don't know when that plane left the ground. I'm knocked out. I'll never get the snacks. I'm never awake from when she offers water. Never. I'm knocked out. I'm out of there on that plane. And that's how a good album hits me. Like I'll be listening to it, I'll be loving it, but it won't disturb me when it's time to go to sleep. Another album that hit me like that was a Tribe Called Quest, People's Instinctive Travels in the Path of Rhythm. Shout out to Tribe. And the thing about it, when I first heard Bonita Applebum, which is like the leading single off that album, I had never heard nothing like that, but that was the perfect fucking song. And so that would just be my shit. I would listen to it. I would take a nap to that shit, like during the day. And I'm like fucking 18 or some shit, but that shit would just be, it would just get me right, you know? And so that was kind of a thing where I was like, damn, if I fuck with an album, I could sleep to this shit, right? So the other day, this might have fucked around and been Saturday, I got the notification there's some new music drop. I don't know how Apple be knowing that there's some shit's dropping that I like. But I got the notification that some new music dropped. And maybe if I'm just thinking, maybe if you downloaded some music from an artist and then they release it, you'll get a notification. I don't know how that shit works. But anyway, I see Electronica has some new shit.
Debo rap over emo rap. I run these guppy niggas, dude. They comfort food. I snack on Florida Ave and eat a meal in Miami. You're everywhere. Touching souls from kids to grannies. I'm on 580, Georgia Ave, MLK, Route 50, Chesapeake, South Street. I'm up in New York City.
I was like, oh, fuck. So I press play on it. And then I'm like, wait a minute now. This is 3 albums in the same day by the same person or some shit. What the fuck? So anyway, I listened to the album. I started listening and I was like, okay, this is pretty dope. But this is what you don't do. I was listening on my phone. Now let me tell you, for all you music listeners, everybody who want to hear something, if you just press play on your phone and let your phone play the music, you're not hearing so many of the instruments and so many of the nuances in the music that it's never really fair to judge a project like that because you can't really hear it. It's just so much stuff that's inaudible from the capabilities of the phone speaker, right? But I heard enough of it to be like, oh shit, let me grab the ear pods because I was up early that morning. I had to catch a shuttle or whatever. So grab the ear pods. I'm listening to these joints. And then by the time, so he has 3 projects out. One of them's called Leaflets and one of them's called, I hate to mess it up. They're all very much worth listening to though. One of them's called A Written Testimony. What's it called? A Written Testimony, Power at the Rate of My Dreams. That's an EP. And then one of them's called A Written Testimony, Leaflets. So an EP and 2 albums. However you count an EP. And so I listened to him enough to know that I wanted to like really hear it. So I'm listening to it, and the one that really stuck to me was Act 2. Now, all these albums, this is what I'm talking about. We need this shit. Ice Cube used to do this. Public Enemy. It's just drops of wise people and good information spread on the album. And maybe about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, I put out a tweet. I put out a post on X. And my question was, would Rambo be able to come out now as a movie? Now, for those of y'all who don't remember what Rambo was about, Rambo was a Vietnam vet, came back to America after the war, and the police started fucking with him and treating him like shit. So Rambo gunned it out with the police department. Rambo went off. Rambo was like, look, y'all living like some suckers. This shit that I'm going through don't wear off. And y'all treated me like shit when I came home. It's up. And it might have been like 5 Rambos or something like that. Rambo went off. But I don't know if they could have a movie of dissidents like that come out now and be popular. But anyway, on Leaflets, I think it's on the Leaflets J Electronica album, he has an insert, the very first song, now it might be a written testimony. The very first song is a clip from Rambo, from the movie. Coincidence? I think not. Great minds think alike. And so that was something that really grabbed my attention. And then throughout all 3 of these albums, he just has information. Like one of them is, I think it's like a Senate hearing or something where that just happened last year. Or let me say within the last few years, where they're talking about how they have found UFOs and what they call now UFAs, unidentified. I don't know what the fuck UFA stands for, but it's the Senate hearing where they're talking about that. And then he just has inserts where people are speaking, but it's still like musically fly. Now, in the Mantronics whole thing that I was talking about, one of the vibes of the music that is attractive for hip hop is the 808. In none of these albums that Jay Electronica just released is the 808 drum prominent. And so the low end is not the draw to this album, which is very interesting for a hip hop release. Like it's always like the bang, bang, you know, like the bang fucking gets you. Like my rear view mirror need to vibrate. Nah, that's not really what's happening here like that. But the musical composition and the tonality and the flow. First of all, y'all can't out rap Jay Electronica, so we're gonna start there. Okay, we're gonna start there. Secondly, it ain't nothing else out there that sounds like him. This motherfucker's just like that. Thirdly, if you wanted to put out an album, you can't just put out an album like this. This is an album where you have to be like this to make this type of sound. Like you can't just do this. And a lot of the music that has been coming out, it's been people who have been imitating others. It's been people who have been doing a song like this because that's hot. I'm going to do a song like that. This ain't that type of album. This is an album where you have to have processed a certain amount of information within yourself. And you got to be like kind of this way to do this. And that's the type of shit I like because it really gives insight into who the artist is and not just to what wave the artist is trying to hop on. Right? So this is like the opposite of the type of music that muffles your voice through a filter and compression and all that shit to make it just give it a sound like everybody else's sound. This is more than just a punchliney album where somebody else could have written the punchlines. Nah, this is some substance. And it's some fly talking. You know, everybody can't just be fly talking. You know, it's some fly shit going on. So in my humble opinion, I'm going to say that Jay Electronica's album, Act 2, let me get the whole name on this bitch. The Patents of Nobility, The Turn. It's the best hip hop album of 2025 so far. And he ain't gonna win no awards for this. I already know because it's too much game in it. And you don't win albums by saying good shit. I mean, you don't win awards by saying good shit. You know, this is the shit that you need. A lot of that fluff that gets sold to us, that's like your leisure distraction listening. You know, that's that type shit that when you get in a pinch, you're going to have to wean yourself off of because you know that's that bullshit, right? That's that fried food music. That's that sugar music. That's that fucking liquor music. You know, that's that shit where when it's time to get your shit together, for whatever reason you've been in you're in a situation, you find yourself needing to sharpen yourself, whatever, you'd be like, man, I gotta stop feeding into this shit. That's what most of the music represents that's in the hip hop market now that gets financed and pushed by distributors. This shit is bad for you like carry out food, right? I know a lot of you. I love carry out food though. Fuck that. I'm gonna eat my motherfucking blah blah blah. And then your brain is on blah blah blah. Your whole body, your whole life is on blah, blah, blah. And you become ineffective because you've been feeding into the agency that is here to make you ineffective. And if everything works out, you will also become an agent. Remember the definition of agent. You can rewind this. but you will become a helper. You will produce the desired effect from the entity or entities that want to box you out of your greatness. Did I lay it down or did I lay it down? So shout out to Wu-Tang and just because. But yeah, everybody who's spitting some inauthentic game for financial gain and everybody who's living like that, just know, somebody who's on top of that shit, they're going to point you out as an agent. And whether they, that's not something for them to come to you with necessarily, but it's just something to just be at peace with, And so from the Grindstone Listening Corner, I want you to know there's a jewel out there. It's Jay Electronica, man. He did the damn thing right now. For the longest, I felt it was a big old hype machine behind him. Because he was that guy who never came out with nothing. Everybody was like, man, you gotta listen to Jay Electronica. And I was like, man, whatever, dude. Hey, but this right here is golden. It's fucking beautiful. It's raw as fuck. It's a rapping clinic. And just to take this with you, it's also 5 things that great projects and great rappers fall into this category. It's 5 things. Listen, I might have mentioned this before, but I want you to hold on to this. At least when it comes to hip hop, it might be like this with all music, but I'm gonna say with hip hop, it's definitely like this. 5 things separate good and great, and separate bad and good. 5 things. Number 1. The voice of the rapper. The originality of the product. The lyricism of the rapper. That means how good they are with their words. The delivery. That's like the cadence. That's how they relate to the beat. And 5, the content. The content. A lot of y'all mind suckers ain't got no content, baby. So those are the 5 things. Just put any great album and then just evaluate it like that. And then you'd be like, yeah, that shit checking boxes. So anyway, I'm in a very happy place hip-hop wise. I got 2 albums on the way. Don't leave Grindstone out of this. One of my joints is called, this is going to be the first one I drop. And it's not even done yet. My other one is done. This one ain't even done. But this is called Exquisite Tension. Exquisite Tension. E.T. My other one is called Does the Past Still Exist? So I'll keep you updated when these joints come out. When these joints are slated to come out. I'm just giving Jay Electronica his flowers, man. Real hip hop is here and it's beautiful and it should be recognized. And if you're not a music executive or an accountant, quit judging how good music is by how much it's sold or how popular it is. You not the one counting the money. What the fuck do them numbers mean to you? Stop making heroes out of shit that is not your business. Okay? Press play, rock out to that shit, and explore. That's the best advice I could give you. But for me to you, put your ears on that Jay Electronica shit. I love it, man. I love the music. I love the fact that you sat here with me through this on this episode of Sorry for My Language. Go to grindstoneuniversal.com so you get fresh like me. But did I show off? Until next time. Peace.